Things are heating up. We have a rock and roll month with a lot of shifts. October is, I'm just going to be frank, is going to bring some challenges only because there's a lot of change taking place. And whenever we have a lot of change, we have a lot of instability, and that sometimes brings stress and pressure. Where Mars and the Sun are right now are really causing things to heat up. And we start the month with a Mercury retrograde. I'm going to dive into all of this. You might want to take some notes on some dates because there's some times that I really want you to watch out for your energy, and I want to help you to navigate that. Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, and welcome to Chart Your Path. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of these updates. We start the month with a Mercury retrograde. Mercury went retrograde on the 27th, and it'll be retrograde till the 18th. This is Vedic Astrology. The retrograde started just a little bit in Libra, but most of it is happening in Virgo. And Mercury's been in Virgo, and this is where the great communicator in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype system is. This is our energy to be able to evaluate things, get down to the details of things. You have probably been attending to details around things, whether you've wanted to or not. But this is a really good time and a grounded time because Mercury is exalted here. And the retrograde isn't necessarily a bad thing. Remember, it's an energy, it's a frequency. And when we have a retrograde, it just means that energy turned in another direction. So it's a change. Change always presents some turbulation in the energy. But you want to watch out for those days, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th of September, and you're probably watching this beyond that. But again, when Mercury is going to go direct also, and that'll be October 17th, 18th, and 19th, those are the days where it gets kind of wonky. Now, there is another set of days to watch out for, and that is right in the middle there, because on October 9th, Mercury's going to line up with Mars. I'm going to tell you about that a little bit more in just a moment. So let's just bracket that for a moment. There's a lot going on here. You can always go back and rewatch this. So what this energy is good for is attending to the details of things. And, you're going to be called to kind of go back over some of the things that you've been organizing around, whatever projects, whatever whether it's around your business, your purpose, your mission, where a project that you've been needing to get down into the details and organize, you've probably felt like you've been either in it or in the minutia or making some progress with it, or you've been feeling like you need to get into the details. You could also feel like you are being over analytical, or that you are getting too much into the perfectionism of things. So watch out, because that'll make you kind of fussy and hard to be around. The theme is here, get practical. There's a deep desire to get for things to be practical and utilitarian. So pick what project you're going to work on. It's the best way to work with this energy. Now, yes, we can have tech issues during the Mercury retrograde, especially on those dates I told you, when it's going to retrograde and then when it's going direct. But aside from that, your critical thinking, your ability to analyze things has been turned up. Our ability to communicate has been pretty good, and that's going to get a little bit challenging as we come around the 8th, 9th, and 10th of the month. So just bracket those days. Not a good time to really focus on your communication during that time. You want to do it before or after. This is also bringing up a deep energy of healing. Virgo is very much about healing. I believe we'll have some breakthroughs this month that do concern healing of things. And again, whatever you are, give yourself a project to work on, whether it is cleaning out your closets. It's up in the northern hemisphere. I live up near the Seattle area. I'm hard at work getting things done in the garden before the season changes, and kind of buttoning things up in that way. It's still harvest time. I've been putting food up and doing things like that. What are the details that you are working on? So use this time for that. Now, I also want to remind you that just don't get over perfectionistic about things, okay? Just get it done and move on. What you can't make a decision about, don't make the decision. Great decisions aren't made, they're arrived at. And if you can't make a decision, all the information isn't in yet. And you grinding away with your mind is not going to help. You've got to get into your heart. You've got to be able to feel what feels resonant for you. And if you can't feel that because so much energy is moving this month, just let this energy roll through. And then when the clouds clear, you're going to be able to see what's the next step for you to take. As we also are starting the month here, we've got Venus, the great connector in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype system, and the artist. And Venus has just moved into Scorpio on the 1st of the month. Now, Venus has been in Libra in Vedic astrology, where it has been really good for relationship, helping us compromise on a social level, helping us see things from the other people's side of things. And that's been really wonderful. But as we go into Scorpio, this gets a little dicey for relationships. So I just want you to remind you about that. Your jealousy can come up. You may not be feeling like you're getting your needs met. You may be have over expectations as far as relationship goes. And you may not be willing to compromise so much. And relationships do take compromise. That's when I'm saying I'm willing to give you some of mine. You're willing to give me some of yours. And we're going to mix that together. I really want you to watch that. So if you have a relationship that is struggling, this month may seem difficult in that relationship, but really what Venus and Scorpio is about is coming down to your deep sense of devotion to the divine. So I suggest as you go into this month, decide what you are devoted to. What do you really want to give your heart to? And especially, what are you devoted to in relationship? And that could be, I'm devoted to hearing the other's point of view. I'm here to really attend to the heart in the relationship. I want to hold the energy of divine love. What are you devoted to in relationships in general? And then also, this is a time to, bring your creativity out, and if the beliefs and the patterns come up, that you're willing to creatively work with them. Now, there is a hot spot here. Again, you're going to hear these dates over and over again. October 9th, Venus is going to line up with the south node of the moon. That's Ketu. That is the mystic. And the nodes of the moon is where eclipses happen. So when Venus lines up with Ketu, the mystic wants nothing to do with this world. The mystic is all about being detached. It's all about letting go of this world and being, connected to the divine. It's the dissolving of the patterns and the things in this world that are not working anymore. That will happen with relationships. So you may feel like, if you have a relationship on the rocks, you may feel like, I'm out of here. So I want you to be careful of that. And again, don't try to put pressure on relationships during this period of time. And we can also have illusions can really be up during this period of time with K2 and the mystic. And actually the moon is going to line up during that time too. So when we have illusions, we are not seeing things clearly. We are seeing a mirage. And if it's driven by our patterns of fear or ways we've been hurt before in a relationship, we are not going to see a mirage that looks very good to us. So being very clear about what you're devoted to in relationships. So if you notice you're getting triggered in those ways, you can take a step back. Give yourself more personal time, more time to be devoted to the divine, to be devoted to divine love. What do you need to do that? The meditation time, the time on your yoga mat, the time in nature, the time diving into, bringing beauty, whatever your spiritual practice is, diving into your heart. I mean, this is the realm of the feminine, and Venus represents feminine energy. So, really attending to your heart, breathing through your heart. And if you get into a heated conversation or you're really feeling that disconnect with someone else, which you can during this time, then simply breathe into your heart. Maybe even take it a step further and breathe into somebody else's heart instead of reacting to them. So watch your reactivity. Dive into beauty, dive into the arts, and dive into really what is the essence of love itself, what is divine love. And you can always ask yourself the question, what would love do? What would love do in this situation? And do that. All right, Mars. Mars in October is going to combust the sun. Now it's in Virgo, and it's been in Virgo, and it's been combust the sun, meaning that it's close to the sun, but it is going to line up exactly with the sun and with Mercury on the 9th of the month. So we have so much happening at that particular time. So again, I want you to take the 8th, 9th, 10th of the month, and I want you to mark those off on your calendar and say, I'm going to take a major chill pill during this time. I am going to do self-love. I am going to do self-care during this time. If you have to work or whatever you need to do, just focus on that. Don't add extra pressure. Don't add extra things during that time. Instead, we want to keep our lives in balance as much as possible. And the best way to do that is keep it simple and take things off our plate. In fact, I taught a free masterclass a couple weeks ago that was all about, it's called The Art of Balance. And so what I want to invite you to do is there's a link down below, and there's also one in the comments. You can grab that free masterclass, and it will help you to navigate and balance, and what balance really is, and how you can bring more of that into your life. That would be something great to support you during this time, during this month. Mars is also, it's our passion energy. It's our, our ability to be fiery and get things done. It's also martial. It's warrior. It is the honorable warrior, but the honorable warrior takes its direction from the divine. And with this energy being combust, we're not always going to be in that higher level of what Mars can really be in its productivity. It's more likely to be frustrated. So if you're feeling frustration, and if Mars is a strong planet for you, or you're running Mars's cycle, you're really going to feel this, and you've been feeling it. With Mars, I like to say either you're passionate or you're pissy. And if you're pissy, you're not in your passion. And it may be more challenging in that window of time to find your passion. So get really clear about it and think about it. What are you passionate about? What can you pour your passion into? And one of the best things to do to channel your energy, see, Mars has got a lot of energy and a lot of fire, and wants us to initiate and move forward. So choose to channel that energy into something productive, something you need to get done, something that's not too complicated. And really the best thing to do is to be very disciplined. Discipline is Mars's domain. The honorable warrior, the engineer, the strategist really knows how to really, do the thing it needs to do to hone your own energy to be able to do what you and show up for what you need to in the world. Discipline gets a bad rap, but discipline really means disciple of the one, as far as I'm concerned, the one that we are all an expression of. So when you are disciplined about yourself, about your personal care, about your thoughts, about your spiritual practice, about your exercise, whatever you need to do so that you are feeling personally empowered, that is where you have control over that realm, and that's where you really need to put your energy instead of trying to boss others around and control others, because Mars loves to do that. So that isn't going to work during this time. So be very conscious of your energy. Choose what practices you're going to continue or dive into this month, and just a good solid exercise routine really will help burn some of this extra energy off. So with these dates that we have going on, really, if you could mark the 8th really through like the 18th of October, and give yourself the breadth of that time to really watch your energy, keep things as simple as possible, bring as much balance in, and you can do the balance class for that. That is going to help you because there's still some more moving energy. Now, we have the new moon, which is on the 6th of October, and that is in Virgo as well. Again, all this energy in Virgo. And remember, Virgo isn't just about the details, practicality, and making things very utilitarian. It's a very sensitive sign. It is about purity. It is about healing. And I do believe that we'll see some things, even though there's lots of controversy, come up around new ways to heal during this time. So this new moon will start a 30-day cycle on us getting down to the details of organizing our vision, organizing our power, organizing our project, bringing the details of the vision down to earth and putting them in place. It's really good for that energy. And whatever, whether it's a project, whether it's, one of your, I call them soul goals, when it's really your heart's desire, not what your mind thinks you should do, but what your heart just really desires for you, your soul wants for you, and bringing down the details of that. One of the great practices for that is just tuning into your heart. What does my heart desire for me to really get practical about this month? And answer that question. I'd love to hear what comes up for you. What does your heart just really want you to get practical about this month, to bring into reality? Love to hear what that's about for you. What are you working on? What's it time to get moving on and get the details organized? You're going to have a 30-day cycle, and then all this other energy in Virgo fueling this. Just be careful of the perfectionism and the overthinking. Then we also have the sun moving into Libra, and that is happening on October 17th. Again, this is Vedic Astrology, and it'll be there through November 15th. This is the leader. This is the king, and even the celebrity in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype system. Now, the leader is not really strong in Libra. It comes here once a year. It's technically debilitated here. And what that means is that it is not so strong for shining its light, but it is really a time where the leader needs to pull back and allow others to shine. And this is a balance that we need. The caveat here is sometimes we can feel like a lack of confidence when we have this, and especially if the sun is your planet or you're running that cycle. You can feel like a lack of confidence. And whenever we feel things shift to what doesn't feel comfortable for us, we tend to think it's going to be that way forever. And the truth is that it's not. And it's one of the reasons I bring you the energy. When you know what the frequencies are, what the energy is, what's trying to come through, you can open up, let it work with you. You consciously then know and work with it and make those shifts, and then open up to what's next for you and move to the next level. That's what, and also to not take it so personally. It's not, it's energy. We need to work with the energy instead of against it. So this is a good time to take a step back, to be able to listen. Listening is a huge part of leading. So whatever it is that your mission is, whatever you're leading in the world, instead of being out in front with it so much, it's time to take move to the back seat of the theater and listen to what everybody else has to say. To, gather the information so that as you step back into a powerful position, as the sun moves into Scorpio the next month, that you're going with more information. More information. This is going to bring an energy of you being more humble, of a need to compromise, and that's what it takes to work together. We were never meant to do any of this alone. We cannot just push our own agenda. That is never going to work. That's not going to create the paradigm that we want to create. We have to work together, so we have to listen to each other and find out how we can work together. And the sun being in Libra is going to help with that. So listen more, and if you do get into that place of feeling like a lack of confidence, come down into your third chakra. You can put your hands right down here on your solar plexus. Breathe deep down into this area. Regain your power. You could imagine you have a sun right here in your solar plexus, and that sun is shining outward. This is where we empower our environment instead of having our environment collapse us inward. And doing some good physical exercise and strengthening your core can help you come back into your power in that way. All right, our next shift, Saturn and Jupiter, they turn direct. Listen to the dates. October 10th, Saturn goes direct. Saturn's been retrograde for months. Jupiter goes direct on the 17th. This is why I marked that time, the 8th through the 18th. There's just so much changing during that time. This is great that these planets are going to move forward. These are big, heavyweight stability planets. Jupiter holding our higher vision for all of us. It gives us our hope. It is going to allow us to move forward with a collective vision. It will get stronger November 20th when it comes back into Aquarius in Vedic astrology. But meanwhile, it's going forward. So we are done going back over and looking again at what is the vision, and now we can start to move forward with it. Saturn moving forward, which is very much of our planet it's the great organizer and administrator in the archetype system. And it is really our commitment. It is our ability to put the focus we need into our vision, into our mission, into what we know needs to happen, and do the work over the long run that will get us there. And Saturn is now moving forward after we've kind of gone back over what we've been committed to, and now we can actually get some forward momentum. It will not happen overnight. It is Saturn. We will always expect delays with Saturn. And because Saturn's going to station when it moves direct, any planet, when it's changing directions, it sort of doesn't really stop, but it slows way down so it can take that turn. Then it's going, so if you have delays around things, don't worry. Delays, Saturn always delays. It always, but if you stay true to your purpose, it will always deliver it in the long run, okay? Saturn is not the sprinter. Saturn's in it for the long run. So you be in it for the long run, the things that are worth you committing to. So what are you committed to, and what is your greater vision? Love to hear about that for you as well. I'm super passionate about helping you move forward with those things. We'll have a full moon on the 20th of the month, and I'll come back and give you an update there. That's going to happen in Aries. If you are wanting some of the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype cards, the link is down below. So is the Sacred Wealth Code book and the journal. You can grab that all down below. I appreciate you subscribing so you don't miss any more updates. If you'd like to hear how I could support you, hang around for a moment here and I will share that with you. If you would like to, again, get my free masterclass, The Art of Balance, that is, the link is down below and it's in the comments as well. I will be teaching monthly masterclasses, and by taking the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype quiz or signing up for the free masterclass now, you will then be on my email list and you will get the information. So I will be teaching monthly free masterclasses that will support the energy that's going on that month, but support a greater energy that is something that is something that you can recalibrate within yourself that will for your life. So the next masterclass coming up is called Align, Power from the Inside Out, and that will be happening near the full moon in October, and so some more information will be coming out about that. If you're wanting to dive more into the Sacred Wealth Code, you can do that through the Journey program, self-paced program, also the Sacred Wealth Circle, which is really all about the inner work and embodying your Sacred Wealth Code, but doing the work on your boundaries and your vulnerability and all it takes to align from the inside out. Also, if you really want to dive in deep and do some deep mentorship with me, then the Soulutionary Blueprint, which is the full body of my work, which includes the astrology, which includes the Sacred Wealth Code Archetypes, which includes your purpose, your mission, your movement in the world. What are you doing with that? Clearing your energy, really understanding how to align from the inside out. This is really for conscious women, visionaries, and aligning yourself on the inside so that you can take your project, your mission, change into your own business, up-leveling your career, whatever it is that you're going to do to make your impact and bring that out into the world. There's links for all of that down below, and feel free to message me, comment, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions about that. It's my greatest joy to support you in being all that you can be, really living into your highest potential in a way that's aligned with your Sacred Wealth Code, with your soul blueprint, with your energy, unique to you. You're only meant to be you in this world. All right. Thanks so much for subscribing. So much love to you.